Hi everyone, this is Frozen 2 Fanboy 2004 here, and welcome to a series review you've been waiting for. This one is Miss Marvel, the latest MCU show. It tells the story of Kamala Khan, who has her own fantasy and is a fan of Captain Marvel. She has the Adventure Con where she discovers her superpowers with a bangle that she wears and the damage control hunts her down. The show focuses on solving the mystery about where the bangle came from and the family's history. It's no surprise that I've pretty much liked all the MCU shows and defend them as much as I am a defender of Phase 4 in general. Hawkeye is the best of them all, and surprisingly enough, it's actually my number one favorite show of all time. I know you can tell me, oh wait, I thought Queen's Gambit was your favorite show. Well, to be honest, I haven't really revisited Queen's Gambit in a while. Like when I tried to rewatch it before, like earlier this year, but then I just didn't feel like it. And then I just think Hawkeye's a little better for now, but maybe I'll rewatch Queen's Gambit soon to see if it will go back to being my favorite show of all time. But Hawkeye for now. Anyway, a lot of people were trashing Miss Marvel based on the trailers and went in expecting us to be the worst MCU show so far. I wanted Miss Marvel to be a good show, and it was already doing so well when the first episode came out. But after seeing the entire Miss Marvel show for myself, I gotta be honest, I wasn't a fan. I thought it was very underwhelming in my opinion. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a bad show by any means. There's some great stuff to be found here. I absolutely love Kamala as a character, and she's easily in my top 15 MCU characters, like favorite MCU characters. Her character is easily the best thing about this entire show, like the best aspect, because everyone knows that characters are my favorite aspect of the show. So it's kind of an accomplishment if you have the characters being the best aspect. I actually had no problem with her, to be honest. Iman Vellani is a perfect casting choice for the lead role, and her performance is spot on. Her family is pretty solid. I actually really like Bruno. His chemistry with Kamala is really strong. The aspects with Kamala and her school friends are probably like the better part of the show than another part which I'll get to later. And the action is just alright in my opinion. Not some of the best mind blowing MCU action, but still good. Just like every series reviews I've done, with Stranger Things season 4 and Obi Wan Kenobi, I'll be reviewing each episode and what I think of them. Episode 1 is by far and away the best episode of the entire show. It's a ton of fun, it never drags, it perfectly introduces the world and the characters. It has such a creative comic book style to it, similar to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Very fast paced, and it's also very relatable. I had this very similar experience with Kalama, where the things I love has distracted me from my school stuff in the future, and I've always been told by people around me to focus on what's important for my future and don't focus on my fantasies. Unfortunately, the rest of the series fails to recapture the magic of the first episode, and that's where the show falls apart. I absolutely hated episode 2 in my opinion. I mean, people say it's one of the best episodes of the show, but to me, episode 2 is very overrated. It's boring, it's slow, it feels like filler, it's not fun, and why so they created the episode 1? The only redeeming qualities about the episode were the training scenes and the ending when Miss Marvel saved the kid from falling down this thing, whatever. Episode 3 was an improvement and one of the better episodes of the show. It still doesn't recapture the magic of episode 1 and introduces what I think is the worst villain of the MCU show. The worst villain in the MCU shows. I don't even remember who the villain was, but it's a she and it's a mother of one of the major characters, I'll just say. But I think this might be my second favorite episode, second only to episode 1. It's still a fun episode. The wedding scene was a blast, and the action scene, the very first action scene was probably the best moment of the entire show. Episode 4 was another episode that fell flat on its face. Besides the family going to Pakistan and doing stuff there, I can't even remember what happened in the episode. It feels like barely anything happened. But the ending of the episode was great. There was kind of an action scene, I don't know, but yeah, I don't remember a single. I barely remember episode 5. Um, where was I? Episode 5 was something different. I do think it's a decent episode overall, and I like how it tries to be very serious in tone in comparison to the other episodes, especially with the family backstory, which was actually one of my favorite episodes of the show. I actually was bored with the family aspect, but actually the more I thought about it, I actually appreciated it more. But it was at that point where the show was trying to be like so inconsistent. It was trying to lose its identity and doesn't know what to focus on. The connection between the past and present made no sense at all. And episode 6 was actually a good finale. Not as good as episodes one and three, but as a finale, it does work for me. It has fun action. It's nice to see Kamala back with her school friends and being able to show the school again. But my issue with the finale is the damage control. Like the fact that the conflict is about the damage control, hunting down the um Kamala and the other guy, I forgot his name, with powers. I feel like it's just another government hunting down people with special abilities cliche, like you've seen this so many times before. Um, but there's this end reveal which I won't spoil it. I won't say, but yeah, the end reveal was got my jaw dropping. A lot of people jaw dropping too. Um, besides besides the episode stuff, there are other problems with the show as well. Without looking into the individual episodes, where is the superhero stuff? Where is the girl power? Look, I appreciate it when Marvel tries to be different. That's why I love Eternals. But at least Eternals had the superhero elements present for most of the time. Miss Marvel was far too focused on the family history and the religion, which should not be the case. They're interesting, but they shouldn't have been the focus. Yeah, I think how I would have fixed it personally is that it could have taken the more Spider-Man Homecoming approach, where like it focused on Kamala's school life with her school friends, and then maybe some conflict in New Jersey. I think they were in New Jersey. And then the villain, like they could have stayed the whole time. I think they shouldn't have went to Pakistan because the stuff kind of made the show lose its identity. If they stayed in New Jersey and had the coming of age story, set entirely of Kamala and her school, then I would have liked it a lot better. And also, I came into the show for girl power, but what girl power is there? There was no girl power at all. But the biggest problem with the show is the target audience. This is literally a show for kids, which is not something I want from Marvel. Plus, this feels more like a Disney Channel show than a Marvel show. I know the Marvel movies and shows are mostly aimed for teens, some more than adults, but I don't buy MCU stuff being for kids. And although, but by the way, before I conclude, I forgot to mention one thing I should give a praise to, and that is the score. I mean, easily, this is in my top 10 best MCU scores, in my opinion, if you ask me. I mean, the score is very vibrant, very different, and very unique. Although the best piece of music, funny enough, the best piece of music in this show actually it's not an original score. It was like probably it was in the beginning of episode one. It was goes dun 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 dun. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So overall, Miss Marvel is Miss Marvel is unfortunately the first entry in the MCU's Phase 4 to disappoint me. It's a show that has major highs and massive lows. It has a flawless main character, a near perfect start, and it is enjoyable, but it has no identity of its own. It has a lack of girl power, very inconsistent, and a lot of mediocre episodes. Miss Marvel, all in all, is painfully average. I know the show has its fans, and I'm glad it does. It has the highest rating of the MCU shows in Rotten Tomatoes with a 98%. Honestly, I don't get it. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give Miss Marvel a 6 out of 10. If you want to see a better girl power content in the MCU, go watch Hawkeye. Yeah, the girl power in the show is absolutely there, and Kate Bishop is my MCU hero. Um, so yeah, that's my review of Miss Marvel. What's your opinion on this show? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my video defending MCU Phase 4. And I will be reviewing the other MCU shows from WandaVision to Moon Knight leading up to Secret Invasion, and my video of all the ranking MCU shows will be done after the finale of Secret Invasion. Bye, guys.